This thing on. All right, guys, this is going to be probably a pretty short video, but I wanted to get this out as fast as I could for you guys. I didn't want you to have to wait on this. I'm about 99% sure I figured out what was going on with the Nitrous last night, so I wanted to make this quick little video to kind of explain it to you guys. So it turns out it was actually more than one thing. It was actually a combination of things piled up all together, as far as I know. Now, I still haven't tested this theory yet, but I came out here and worked on the car, and yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what it was. And part of it is due to the delay in my transmission shifting. Part of it is due to just me overlooking a minor detail and shooting myself in the foot. So I'm going to get right into this. If you guys have seen my Nitrous installation videos where I go over all the technical aspects of installing a Nitrous system, then you know I'm probably over explaining right now. If you haven't seen those videos, you should go back and watch them. They're actually in the LS Tech Tips playlist. But anyway, so on this application here, what we've got is we've got Nitrous Express's bottom of the line mainline kit. These solenoids are rated to flow a max of 250 horsepower. That's very important, guys. But I'm not using the nozzle. The nozzle that comes with them is actually it's a really small, what is it, 1/16 nozzle, and I think it's only rated to like 150 horsepower. Now I'm actually using their top of the line fogger nozzle here. This is the Shark SHO. It stands for super high output, and this is a 1/8 nozzle, and it's been drilled out larger. I didn't drill it out, I mean they drill it out. That's why it's the SHO nozzle. And this is rated to spray a single fogger shot of 400 horsepower. All right, that's also very important. I'm mix matching components here, guys, and that's where I got kind of screwed up. And that's why, honestly, Nitrous manufacturers tell you not to mix match components, because you end up doing something like what I just did was completely screw up the jet sizing in this thing, and basically I flooded the freaking engine out. So I went in there just a few minutes ago and I pulled the data logs off my Holley digital dash, and I pulled it up, and it wasn't really what I was expecting to see, but as soon as I saw it, something snapped in my head. I ran out here and I pulled the jets out. And so here's what's going on, guys, on the data log. Like I said, we've got two things that were hurting us yesterday. The first thing that was hurting us is there is a slight delay in the digital dash, okay? Like as you're revving up fast, it's not that bad in second gear because it revs slower, but in first gear, when it's revving really fast, there's a little delay before the dash actually displays the RPM. So I've got my shift point set low because it's a stock cam at like 5,500. Well, there's also a delay in the time it takes for the transmission to shift after I bump it up a gear. So what was going on is I was telling it to shift. I was bumping it up a gear at like 5,500 RPMs. The transmission was not shifting until right at 6,000. Why is that important? That's important because I had the cutoff perimeter for my Nitrous set at 6,000 RPM. And remember, I told you that it felt like it was just falling on its face right at the top of first gear, right before I would shift into second. So after looking at the data log, that's exactly what it was doing. The Holley was shutting it off at the top of first gear, and what I didn't know is every time Holley shuts it off, it starts the ramp all over again. So, you know, I had it starting at 30% and over 2.5 seconds, building up to the full 250 shot. Well, what was happening is it was starting at 30 seconds, building up, but not the way it should. I'll get into that in a second. And then it was over revving in first gear because my transmission takes a second to respond, and Holley was shutting it off. So then as soon as I got into second gear, it was starting the ramp all over again at 30% and building back up. This was my fault. I mean, both things were my fault. but I really probably should have raised the ceiling up to like 6,500 or something. And once we put the bigger cam in it, I'm going to have my nitrous cut off at probably like 7,200 just to make sure shit like this doesn't happen. But now on to part 2. The second thing I noticed in the data log is like a 8:0 air fuel ratio. Yeah, that's right, guys. My air fuel ratio was just dropping, and eventually hitting an 8.0. Now, the first thing that popped in my mind when I saw that is, okay, my nitrous solenoid's bad. And there's a very real possibility that it could be, but I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue was I used the wrong jetting chart. I used the jetting chart for the SHO nozzle instead of the jetting chart for the solenoids that I'm using. And you can't do that, guys. You've got to use the jetting for your weakest link. So my weakest link are the solenoids. These solenoids flow a max of a 250 shot. So what happens is, let me show you. So this is a jetting card for the mainline solenoids, all right? And what you're gonna notice is a 100 shot is a 52 jet, a 150 shot is a 67, a 200 is a 78, and a 250 shot jumps all the way up to a 136. That's pretty much, I mean, that's the biggest jet I have in my kit. I've actually got 2 of them right there. At that point, you're almost running a wide open line, guys. And the reason the jump is so big between 200 and 250 is because the solenoids cannot physically flow more than this. So basically, on a 250 shot, I almost don't even have to use a jet. I could just about just take the jet out and run a straight line. Now, where I screwed up was I didn't use the proper card. I used the SHO card. This is the card for the SHO fogger nozzle. Now, obviously, since the SHO nozzle is rated to 400 horsepower, they expect you to use their, I think it's their ML 301 solenoids, which are rated up to like 500 horsepower. All right. So they're not expecting that you're going to run this big ass freaking fogger nozzle with these little bitty tiny jets. They're expecting you to use, little bitty tiny solenoids. They're expecting you to use their big boy solenoids with this, because what kind of idiot would do this? Yeah, that'd be me. So what happened was I went through here and I used the jetting for a 250 shot with the SHO nozzle, which, as you can see here, is only an 88 jet. All right. My solenoids max out at 250 and require a jet that's way bigger for a 250 shot. So here's what was happening, guys. When it was spraying the 250 shot, the reason it felt so strong initially, when it would first start spraying, it was pulsing the solenoid, and it wasn't a 250 shot. It was building up to that 250 shot. So what I'm seeing on my data log is when it first starts spraying, it starts to go a little rich, and then the longer it the more the nitrous ramps in, the more my air fuel ratio drops down. And by the time the nitrous is fully ramped in, I'm getting way too much fuel from my fuel jet, and nowhere near enough nitrous from my nitrous jet, and it's flooding it out, guys. Like it was dropping all the way down to a 8.0 air fuel ratio. So that was the power drop I felt. Instead of feeling like it was building up, it felt like it was gradually slowing down. It started strong, then gradually slowed down. Then, about the time it reached the peak of that, it would shift into second gear, but I was pegging 6,000 RPMs. The Holly was shutting off the nitrous for a second, then starting the ramp all over again. So, yeah, there's the issue. So, what I've done, I just went over there, and I'm not 100% sure about this 136 jet. So what I decided to do is I decided to step down to a 200 shot. So I went ahead, I went over there, I put my 78 jet in, which is the 200 shot for the mainline solenoids, and I went ahead and put my 41 jet in, which is the fueling for the EFI for the mainline solenoid. So hopefully that fixes our problem. It's 11 o'clock at night right now, so I can't go out and really try it out, but I'm about 100% sure that was my problem. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. I know a lot of you have been chiming in with suggestions, and I just wanted to throw it out to you that, you know, I didn't want to do a big whole long ass video. I am planning on doing another video tomorrow, but I just wanted to throw this out to you guys and let you know I'm pretty sure I figured out what the problem is. Hopefully I fixed it. Tomorrow we will probably take it down the road and try it out on the 200 shot, because even though I won't have a way to time it, you know, we won't be at the drag strip. I mean, I can feel if it's spraying that 200 shot, and we can look in our data log and make sure the fuel in stays closer this time. So hopefully that is one problem down, and we've only got the 2 problems left, which we may experiment some with that tomorrow too. So anyway, I hope this cleared some stuff up for you guys. I hope that I've cleared this up for me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.